opening to our depressed heroine lying on the floor of her apartment and our smiling hero on the other side of the door, ready to pick her up. The woman is Jeong Hee-wan, and she's shocked when she opens the door to Kim Ram-wo. We're immediately thrown into a flashback when these two were in high school, and it's interesting to see how different they are. Here, the young Hee-wan is vibrant and full of life, while Ram-woo is reserved and laser-focused on his studies. Unfortunately for Ram-woo, he's pressured into partaking in a class-wide April Fool's prank in which they switch names to confuse the teachers. The classmate who Ram-woo trades names with is, you guessed it, Hee-wan. And he complains to his best friend Lee Hong-suk that Hee-wan is the worst to be associated with. Case in point, Hee-wan fully commits to his name, giving it out to boys and using it to check out BL books from the library. To top it all off, Hee-wan gets into trouble with some bullies and it's his name tag that she leaves behind. As an introvert, I feel Ram-woo's pain, but OMG do I love Hee-wan. Like, when the bullies confront her, she uses markers to draw tattoos on herself, Ram-woo, and her friend Hwa-wen to Ik-young to appear more intimidating. Ram-woo is relieved when April Fool's is over, only to discover that he and Hee-wan are actually neighbors. He ends up meeting her outside their apartment building to deliver a bra that his mom sold her online. His pure embarrassment kills me. He begs her not to tell anyone about this at school, and she agrees, for a price. The name switch brought a lot of luck to Hee-wan, free food, better test scores, etc., so she'd like to keep the act going. With that, they continue answering to their new names, and Ram-woo gets used to it after a while. The arrangement also brings them closer together, and they become good friends. Eventually, Hee-wan finds herself developing a crush on Ram-woo. She buys herself a nice dress and wears it every time she takes out recycling, hoping to run into him. When the opportunity comes and she knows that he's outside, she rushes to meet him, her dress dripping wet from the wash and her foot injured from dropping a drawer on it. Despite all of that, Hee-wan has the biggest smile when she sees Ram-woo, and it's absolutely adorable. Back in the present day, however, Hee-wan is not at all happy to see her old friend, because he died 4 years ago. Not only is Ram-woo dead, but he's a reaper, here to warn Hee-wan that she'll be dying in 1 week. As expected, she doesn't believe him. In fact, no one else is able to see or hear him, so she doesn't even believe that he's real. In order to convince her, he has to take her to the hospital to witness a patient's death. And Hee-wan watches in amazement as the patient's soul appears and is escorted away by another reaper. The truth sinks in, along with the fact that Hee-wan really will die. Ram-woo can't tell her how, and it seems like they can't prevent it, so all Hee-wan wants to do is go home and sleep. But Ram-woo won't be having that. He encourages her to do all the things on her bucket list. When she insists that she doesn't have one, he asks that she at least humor him and do the things on his own list. Reluctant, she settles on completing 10 items, as long as he leaves her alone after. The couple promptly goes through Ram-woo's bucket list, crossing off things such as drinking beer under the stars, going bird-watching, and eating cup ramyun at the North Pole. They complete the last one by watching a polar bear documentary and simulating snow, lol. They go through the items so fast that I worry they'll finish and part too soon. Thankfully, time seems to slow when they attend a classical music concert. Hee-wan's mind wanders, and we're taken to another high school flashback, when a girl named Jisoo asks Hee-wan to rewrite a confession letter in pretty calligraphy. Hee-wan accepts, only to realize that the letter is addressed to Ram-woo. Hee-wan makes up every excuse in the book to avoid writing the letter and avoid facing a very impatient Jisoo, to the point where she jumps out a freaking window and breaks her leg. In the end, she does give Jisoo the letter, trying to convince herself that any sort of high school romance wouldn't last anyway. According to Taekyung, Ram-woo accepted Jisoo's confession, leaving Hee-wan heartbroken. It's made even worse when Ram-woo comes to her with the request to rewrite a letter to JS, assuming that it's for Jisoo. Hee-wan is hilariously pissy about this, but Ram-woo clarifies that it's a birthday letter for his mom, Young-suk. He has no intention of dating Jisoo. In the present day, the couple prepares for the next item on the bucket list, paragliding. Ram-woo makes Hee-wan go by herself, saying that he'll be waiting for her at the landing area. At first, she goes kicking and screaming, but by the time she's in the air, she's laughing with glee. She arrives at the landing site, looking around for Ram-woo, and immediately panics when she can't find him. Ugh! My heart when her eyes finally land on him. It's like she's already gotten used to having him around again. We then see a memory of Ram-woo's, as he listened in on Hee-wan telling some friends about her list of things she wants to do with a boyfriend. And they're the exact same things that the present-day couple has been doing. Another flashback shows Ram-woo's funeral, as students gossip that he died because of Hee-wan. Yeesh, another jab at my heart right there. From the hints we've been given, it seems like Ram-woo died in an accident and like it had something to do with the name switch. It would definitely explain the added layer of trauma that present-day Hee-wan carries, which Kim Min-ha is portraying beautifully. I'm sure it's hard for Hee-wan to have Reaper Ram-woo around and to relive her past, but we are starting to see her old vibrancy. I especially liked that the flashbacks were colorful while the present was dark. That way, the brightness in the present paragliding scene really popped. There's still a long journey ahead of us, and hopefully, it comes with healing for both our heroine and our hero. Well, no one ever said that opening up old wounds would be pleasant. Our heroine works through her bucket list, overwhelmed with memories of happier times, and with possibilities that were tragically cut short. Thanks to a certain cutie patootie Reaper, though, she starts to ground herself in the present and see that she's not as alone as she thought. Back in their high school days, we see Hee-wan and Ram-woo grow closer along with Hee-wan's dad and Ram-woo's mom. They naturally become their own little neighborhood family. Hee-wan latches onto Ram-woo's mom, wanting to learn painting from her. She takes the training very seriously, thinking that art could be her way into college, and spends a lot of her time over at Ram-woo's apartment. One night, while Hee-wan and Ram-woo are out on the balcony, she freaks out over a shooting star and is disappointed when he misses it. They both voice that it'd be romantic to see a shooting star together, only to backtrack with excuses like with our friends, obvi. This exchange gives Hee-wan a burst of hope, and later, she writes out a confession letter. Ram-woo, however, feels the need to swallow his feelings when his buddy Hong-suk admits that he has a crush on Hee-wan. In the present day, Ram-woo brings Hee-wan to her university, encouraging her to tie up any loose ends. She insists that there's no one to say goodbye to, which is, of course, when she runs into a sunbae from art class. One thing leads to another, and before she knows it, she's helping the art department set up for the school festival. As Hee-wan loosens up with her fellow art students, we jump back to the high school timeline. Mom and Dad end up buying the kids the exact same jacket, and when they show up to school wearing them, their classmates give them a hard time about looking like a couple. Ram-woo immediately shuts down the dating jokes, but seeing Hee-wan's disappointment, he seems to regret it. Once school is over, he finds her abandoned jacket, and two girls come up to him, encouraging him to go after her and confess. These girls are real ones. He takes their advice, waiting for her at the bus stop, but she's currently with Hong-suk. Hong-suk and Hee-wan are hanging out by the school's pool, where he's helping her paint water. They chat, playfully splash each other, and joke about Hee-wan designing a seal tattoo for Hong-suk. As a former swimmer, Hong-suk is supposedly tight with the maintenance guy, but when said maintenance guy catches them, he orders Hong-suk and his girlfriend to leave. Hong-suk clarifies that he's not dating Hee-wan but would like to, which surprises her. Afterwards, Hee-wan arrives at the bus stop wearing Hong-suk's jacket. This throws Ram-woo off, and he lets her go without confessing. Fast forward to present day, when Hee-wan's classmates ask if she has a boyfriend, perhaps the guy with the tattoo who's been spotted on campus. Hee-wan denies this and tries to escape the conversation, but she freezes at the sight of an excited Ram-woo. He goes up to a seller giving out sparklers, all giddy until he remembers that the seller can't see him. Drama, stop, I can't take this. Something snaps in Hee-wan and she runs out of the festival, over to a dark ledge. Ram-woo finds her and tries to get her to step back, but she tells him that she's done. She doesn't want to keep seeing him when it just tricks her mind into thinking that he's alive. It's hard enough constantly having him smile at her when she still can't forgive herself for his death. So Hee-wan decides she wants to end all of this now. She deduced from their earlier hospital visit that a Reaper must say a person's name 3 times before guiding them away. She knows that's why Ram-woo has been calling her by his name this whole time, and she begs him to get it over with and use her real name. The desperation in Hee-wan's voice seems to break something in Ram-woo. He gently takes her hand, says her name once, and then stops. Rather than continue, he finally admits, after all this time, that he likes her. And he didn't come here to punish her or torture her, he just missed her. As his words sink in, she breaks into sobs, grasping his hand harder. Then he's crying, I'm crying. We're all crying. The following day, Ram-woo tries to lift Hee-wan's spirits by taking her to their secret spot at the high school. It reminds Hee-wan of when she first introduced him to the place. In this flashback, the two confide in each other about their absent parents. Her mom passed away, while his dad left and remarried. Their tender moment is interrupted by Taekyung, who's hurt to find Ram-woo in what's supposed to be her and Hee-wan's secret spot. She lashes out at Hee-wan for ditching her for a new best friend, as well as new college goals, and this results in a fight. The friend group is tense for a while, so Ram-woo and Hong-suk come up with a plan. The boys take the girls out to a meteor shower festival for a getaway trip. There, the girls are able to have some fun, talk things out, and eventually reaffirm their love for each other. Even the boys get some bonding time, and Hong-suk tells Ram-woo to go for it with Hee-wan. He had a feeling that they like each other, and after Hee-wan essentially rejected him at the pool, he's come to accept it. Present day, Ram-woo asks Hee-wan how their friends are doing, and she answers that she's not as close with them. Pouting, Ram-woo adds meet with Hong-suk to their bucket list, wanting to see him again. He drags her over to Hong-suk's workplace as a swim coach, forcing her to smile and wave at him. And, oi! Hong-suk does not smile back. Hong-suk tells Hee-wan point blank that he's uncomfortable around her, which is fine by her. She turns to leave, but an ambulance speeds by, the loud siren triggering memories of Ram-woo's accident. She falls to the ground, hyperventilating, and Hong-suk rushes over to help her control her breathing. Once the panic attack passes, they're able to sit down and talk. He's curious as to what happened between them, and she admits that she can't pretend to be okay and move on like he did. But of course, he hasn't moved on the pain clear on his face. He asks how she could think that she's the only one suffering. After all, he was there that day too. Flashback to the Meteor Shower Festival. Hee-wan had entered and won a contest for a special viewing in the observatory. She gives the winning ticket with her name to Ram-woo, wanting to do something to make him happy. He suggests that they go together, but feeling shy, she shoves him her confession letter and sends him off alone. Hee-wan rejoins her friends for the outdoor viewing, while Ram-woo enters the observatory. 1 second, Ram-woo is reading the letter with a smile on his face, and the next, a gas explosion has the whole building in flames. Sirens direct Hee-wan and her friends to the scene, where they're screaming Ram-woo's name. As present-day Hong-suk remembers these events, he admits that sirens trigger him too. But he's studying to become a firefighter someday. That way he at least has a purpose for his alertness. Before they part ways, Hee-wan apologizes for being selfish and tells him to live a good life, even if he doesn't hear from her. Inside his office, Hong-suk finds an old board game set up on the table, the same game that he and Ram-woo would play. He also finds the note that Ram-woo meant to give him at the festival. Your fly is down. LOL. God. The way Hong-suk laughs without question. Like he just feels Ram-woo's presence. It's turning me into a blubbery mess. Meanwhile, Hee-wan is wandering the streets, imagining every what-if scenario. Like, what if she hadn't applied to the contest? What if she and Ram-woo had never traded names? What if they had never become friends in the first place? She thinks of Ram-woo's mom the night of the accident, breaking down in front of the surgery room. And she suddenly knows what the next item on her bucket list is. She needs to see his mom one last time. Oh man, how am I supposed to handle mom's arc when I could barely handle Hong-suk's? He truly was the MVP this week, supporting his best bud and still carrying so much love for him. I'm glad that Hee-wan came to understand his grief and that she finally came around to exploring her own. I have no idea how the series will wrap up, if Hee-wan will really die, if she will find peace, but I'm already dreading having to say goodbye so soon. We start out with a flashback after Ram-woo's death, when he's greeted by his grim Reaper. The Reaper can tell he has regrets, and she admits that she was able to alleviate her own regrets by traveling to the physical world for work. Intrigued, Ramwoo asks how he can become a reaper. In the present, Ramwoo sends Hee-wan off to the one person who might know where his mom is his dad's wife. It turns out that the dad had lied to the mom about being married, and they had Ramwoo out of wedlock. The wife found out and tried to keep Ramwoo and his mom away with money. Initially, when Hee-wan approaches the wife doesn't want to divulge where Ramwoo's mom is, but Hee-wan explains that she'd been running away because she was cowardly, and she doesn't want to do that anymore. It's similar to something Ramwoo's mom told the wife years ago, and it gets her to open up. Before setting off, Ramwoo and Hee-wan argue about whether or not it's a good idea to see mom. To Ramwoo, it'd be better to leave mom be, but to Hee-wan, it's important she set the record straight, knowing his mom blames herself for his death. Ramwoo insists that it's not Hee-wan's fault either, but she's not hearing him. Frustrated, Ramwoo demands to know why she can't just move on, why she's accepting her death so easily. He thinks back to when he first started working as a reaper, when most people would fight him or run away. The two cool down on the bus ride to the countryside, where mom has a small art gallery. A nervous Hee-wan goes into the gallery alone, and though mom is surprised to see her, she's all smiles. They get to talking, and as time goes on, Hee-wan seems to be itching to tell the truth. So she lets it all out, revealing that Ramwoo was in the observatory because she gave him the winning ticket with her name. Hee-wan says this ready for mom's wrath, as if Hee-wan deserves the blame and all the pain that comes with it. But mom only looks at her, stunned. Mom had already assumed there was some mix-up with the kids' names, but she hadn't realized that Hee-wan was carrying so much guilt. She immediately brings Hee-wan into a hug, telling her not to blame herself anymore. She admits that she held in a lot of blame and anger too, but she gradually learned to stop being angry and simply miss her son. Later, while Hee-wan is waiting outside, Ramwoo gets a moment alone with his mom. He watches as she takes out his old jacket and puts it on, and he hugs her from behind, making her comment that she feels warm. Great, here come the tears. Once mom says goodbye to the jacket, she goes out to hand it over to Hee-wan. The outdoor lights switch on, magically fixed earlier by our reaper, and the action reminds Hee-wan that seeing mom was the last thing on her bucket list, and that Ramwoo promised to leave once the list was done. She runs off in a panic, searching the woods for him, but he's nowhere in sight. In flashback, we see Ramwoo chatting with some fellow reapers about a reaper that got too involved with a loved one. Because the reaper broke the rules, they disappeared completely into nothing. What? What does this mean for Ramwoo? Thankfully, Ramwoo isn't gone just yet. Hee-wan finds him, and she's so relieved that she runs up to him and kisses him. When they break apart, she tells him that after he died, she felt stuck while everyone else was moving forward. But ever since he came back, she feels like time is flowing for her again. As the couple embraces, Ramwoo remembers first seeing Hee-wan in his reaper assignments, her manner of death listed as suicide. And elsewhere, Hee-wan's art department Sunbae Jeong Hee-wan has a dream of Hee-wan getting ready to jump off a roof, as fireworks go off in the sky. In an interesting twist, we learn that Jeong Hee-wan can see reapers, and she noticed Ramwoo with Hee-wan the day of the school festival. She's been concerned for Hee-wan ever since, trying and failing to contact her. Now, having had this ominous dream, she's desperate to get to her before it's too late. It's Hee-wan's last day before dying, and she and Ramwoo spend it completing another last-minute bucket list. This includes buying her father a new suit, doing a nice thing for a stranger, and going on a normal date with Ramwoo, all while ignoring Jeong Hee-wan's texts. It's the happiest Hee-wan has looked in a long time. As the day comes to a close, and the couple watches the sunset, Hee-wan asks how she's supposed to die. Seeing Ramwoo's sad expression, she correctly assumes that it's by her own choice, and then realizes that that's why Ramwoo came a week early. Ramwoo confirms this, saying she can still choose to live, that she should live now that time is flowing for her. Hee-wan starts getting emotional and says that choosing to live will mean losing him again. Ramwoo comforts her as much as he can, saying he'll be with her even if she can't see him, but she can't stop crying. She turns to the sun as it disappears, and when she turns back, Ramwoo is gone too. She tries to call out that, Fine, she'll live happily, only to crumble and cry that she can't go on without him. Hee-wan returns to her cold, dark apartment, reminders of Ram-woo's absence everywhere. Meanwhile, Jeong Hee-wan is trying to find where Hee-wan lives, piecing together the images from her dream. She manages to find the apartment building and hurries to the roof, finding Hee-wan on the ledge. Hee-wan is surprised to see her sunbae, but she won't be talked down. Not until Jeong Hee-wan mentions her reaper. Jeong Hee-wan tells her that her reaper must be in pain too, which gives Hee-wan pause. Then, as if he'd been summoned, Ram-woo appears by Hee-wan's side, just in time for the fireworks to go off. To Jeong Hee-wan's relief, Ram-woo is able to get Hee-wan to step down, and they wordlessly watch the fireworks. After, Hee-wan apologizes to Ram-woo for not being able to save him, and he tells her that saving herself would be saving him, because she's both Jeong Hee-wan and Kim Ram-woo. Their love and their experiences will always live on in her. After a final goodbye, with reassurance that they'll meet again someday, Ram-woo says his own name 3 times and disappears. And though Hee-wan is crying again, she stands a little taller with acceptance. Time moves on for Hee-wan, winter rolling into spring. She spends time with her family, she gets back in contact with Taekyung and Hong-suk, and she becomes good friends with Jeong Hee-wan, who has shared her own experiences with death. She and Jeong Hee-wan talk about the pain that a person's passing can leave, and she notes that it may be best to shelve the grief but take it out every once in a while. At Hee-wan's graphic design showcase, she looks at her final project, a piece inspired by Ram-woo's handwriting. It reads, "Nothing comes back and nothing is repeated, because everything is real." She thinks back to her last morning with Ram-woo, when she was disappointed that the stars had disappeared. He told her that the stars were still there, even if she couldn't see them, and had her close her eyes to imagine them. Hee-wan closes her eyes now, and when she opens them, she's able to imagine her and Ram-woo together. With a smile, she narrates, "I'll remember you. I'll continue living. Because to us, loving myself means loving you." What a beautiful ending to this beautiful little drama. I've got to say, I was really worried for Hee-wan the first time Ram-woo disappeared, because it was clear that her happiness had become dependent on his presence during their last week together. But I liked the way her arc was handled, having her realize that she can find that happiness within herself. I also appreciated the fact that she rediscovered joy in other things, like her social life and hobbies, but still kept a special place in her heart for her grief. I am stuck on one detail, that being the revelation that Reapers disappear forever if they break the rules. It was hinted that Ram-woo was breaking a rule by helping Hee-wan, but after it was mentioned, it was never brought up again. Maybe I misinterpreted it, but yeesh, I would hope that Ram-woo isn't actually gone forever. Seems too cruel after everything he'd been through. I at least have some comfort in knowing that whatever happened, wherever he is, he made his mark, and that's something that can't disappear.